Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters, and welcome back to game number 2 between IMMVP, the red Terran player right here, and SlayerSCella, the blue Zerg player right here. This is PGL Milncraft here, and this map is Metalopolis. It is one of the oldest maps. I talk about all the time how much I love that map, and looks like SlayerSCella is saying something in Korean. I unfortunately do not speak Korean, and so do not know what he's saying, but I'm sure it's very humorous. Looks like they're, I don't know if that's, I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate. I don't know what they were talking about. But I will talk about the previous game. We saw early damage compound for the Zerg. Now the Zerg was able to counterattack and do damage, but the damage was a little bit later. He didn't kill 5 Zerglings within the first like 2 minutes or whatever it was. The Zergling run by was a little bit later. And on top of that, as I talked about, the Terran workers are just a little less important than Zerg workers because of the presence of mules, and Zerg workers are just super important in general. Now this Overlord did in fact spot MVP's not his expansion, his base rather, and is now just going to sit here. He's going to sit out of view so that MVP does not know the proper way to scout, although I will say, since this is... Ooh, actually there is no supply depot, so this might not be the MLG version of this map, but I think it might still be the version where you cannot close spawn. Close spawning would be spawning here, and then if you look at the minimap, right here would be the other spot that you can't spawn across map like that, because it's just very difficult. Not basically Zerg players against everyone, it's very difficult to hold, and it's just kind of not really that fun of a game. It's a very aggressive game because it becomes very difficult to take any sort of second expansion, and actually it becomes very difficult to take your third base, your second expansion. But also it can become even difficult to take your natural, just because of how close people are. And you saw the bunker rush on a huge map actually succeed last time because SlayerSCella didn't overreact, but he actually kind of underreacted as a result of the fact that MVP placed his bunker so perfectly between the building hatchery and the gas that he was able to get. That he was able to protect the building worker in spite of the 3 drones that were trying to attack the SCV, and then actually finish the bunker before the Marine was able to get there. And of course, a little bit of missed micro because SlayerSCella had Zerglings and drones to be able to block that second Marine from getting in. He did not block it, and then ended up costing him a couple of Zerglings. And then on top of that, it delayed the, it had a compound effect because it delayed the delayed the spine crawler, which would normally go for the reactor Hellions. It looks like MVP is probably going to be going for reactor Hellions again. As soon as he gets to 50 gas, I bet he'll be starting. He didn't leave enough space, actually. Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing. He actually didn't move his barracks enough, but yep, reactor Hellions again, and the reactor Hellions were able to get a number of kills as well. Looks like the bunker there just not able to do anything, which is kind of curious. I'm not quite sure why MVP canceled that. Oh, I think I missed it, but the drones actually were able to take out the building SCV that time. So the Marines decided, we are going home. We don't want to fight your unfair battles anymore, MVP. And they're going to go ahead on home. Zerglings are going to take the watchtower to make sure he maintains map control. Looks like this Overlord is going to move all around. He has not spotted the expansion, or actually he has not spotted the reactor Hellions. He could guess that that's what they're doing because they're fairly standard. And in fact, his response is very good, because MVP's attack is heavily reliant on... Oh, okay, he is 2 base roaching. I want to make sure. It wasn't like a super all-in or anything. I guess it would have been faster if it was 1 base roaching. But MVP's build is relies on the Hellions for early defense, and Hellions, of course, are terrible against roaches. Just absolutely terrible, especially... This is a long time ago, but the roach range, when they added the range from 3 to 4, which made, I think, Hellions have half of a range difference. No, they're 1 range different. But Hellions have to like turn and fire, so it's very difficult to avoid shots from roaches as you kite them. And actually, oh, he already picks off a Hellion here. These are very early roaches. Going to be very effective against taking out his forces. Even more roaches are streaming in. Looks like he's actually droning behind this. So this is just going to be, how many roaches do we have? It's going to be 6 roach aggression, and it's actually going to deal a lot of damage. I think most likely he's actually going to be able to... looks like he wants to take out that Marine. I think he's going to be able to take out one of the supply depots, possibly the reactor. Is able to snipe that SCV building the bunker, and is sniping the bunker right now. I don't actually think this is the right decision, as that bunker is not terribly dangerous in terms of his roach rush. He actually needs to be able to get into the base. So if he wants to do permanent damage, he should take out that reactor, which is exactly what he's taking out next. Or he should be firing at things that are just a little more important. Looks like a bunch of SCVs are in fact getting moved up, though. The roaches are in a line, so they are taking a little bit of extra damage from the Hellions, but the Roaches are down target firing the SCVs. Good job on the part of SlayerSCella, able to kill a decent amount of SCVs right there. If we go to the units lost tab, he has killed 7 workers, very effective there, and actually he still has a Roach. And Hellions, you can just see, do so little damage to Roach. They only do 7 damage a shot, and you know that can be increased a little bit. Ooh, that Marauder's going to scare that Roach away. They can increase a little bit by hitting Roaches in a line, which is why he was able to deal so much damage so quickly to the Roaches on the little ramp right there. But at the same time, Roaches are just that much more effective against Hellions that it's not going to matter. Looks like not a whole lot of action. He's just droning quite heavily. He's got 4 Roaches for defense. Now this could actually be fair, or 5 Roaches for defense rather. Now this could actually be fairly dangerous, primarily because MVP could go for a, it looks like he's not actually going for that, but he could be going for a Roach, or a Marauder Hellion build rather. And ooh, he didn't take the Watchtower. He did not take the Watchtower, so he does not know about the quick third onto the goal. That is a really ballsy play from the part of SlayerSCella, and all he needs to do is put 1 unit up here, and he would be able to spot the existence of that expansion, but he has not done that. And I think SlayerSCella knows it because he has the Overlord right there. Very nice placement on his part. And looks like those Hellions are just a little too close, and he is going to lose 1. So MVP actually taking a lot of unit losses right now. Wow, so it looks like the hatchery up here is going to finish. I think, wow, SlayerSCella is also actually banking up a lot of minerals right now. So it's possible he must be larva. No, he is not larva blocked. He is, in fact, building, he's only building 1 Overlord. He's building probably a couple, oh no, he's got good supply as well. But he is quickly changing into gas production, and ooh, those drones were lining up almost perfectly, so he had to be a little careful there. If those were Blue Flame Hellions, they weren't Blue Flame Hellions, but if they were, that could have been done a lot of damage to his forces. And I think, wow, I don't think MVP still does not know about that gold base, and the drone transfer is now complete. I think some spine crawlers, yep, exactly, should be going down right now in order to help protect this base. Because, oh, and MVP sees it now. MVP is now seeing the expansion. Looks like a couple of Zerglings are going to go forward and get fried. There are 6, 7 Roaches here. Roach is very effective against both Marines, but that is a lot of Marauders with Stim. Oh, I think a little bit of an early Stim by MVP, however, as he did not need to Stim his entire Marauder force just to take out 3 Roaches. However, he will be able to use that against the next Roach force as well. He does not have Marauder slow, which is going to hurt his forces ever so slightly, but he's not kiting much anyway. Perhaps it's because of the lack of Marauder slow, but this is a pretty potent push. Marauder Hellion is a sort of all-in that some Terrans do, and MVP just happened to fall into it because of the nature of the rush. Looks like he's able to fry that Queen right there, which is going to hamper SlayerSCella's production, and it looks like SlayerSCella is actually taking a lot of damage right now. He's having to pull his drones, and now he's producing a lot more Roaches behind this. However, it remains to be seen if he's going to have enough to be able to hold this off. Hellions are very effective against dealing with the Zerglings and the drones, and the Marauders are very effective against dealing with the Roaches, especially since they've got such long range. They can sit behind all of the other forces and go ahead and kite, and with Stim, they're doing even more damage. So I don't know if SlayerSCella's going to be able to hold this off. There are 20 Zerglings coming out, but they're coming out piecemeal, and he keeps getting them picked off 1 by 1. He needs to work out a better rally point for his forces. Unfortunately, the Natural is being attacked right now. Looks like he is going to be able to move it. I think he probably is going to be able to clean this up at some point, but at what cost is the important point. He's now down 20 supply, and his opponent, those more Marauders actually keep streaming in. It's possible he will not be able to hang this off. We see 3 Marauders being built at once in addition to 2 Hellions. I don't think SlayerSCella is able to hold this off. Looks like the Zerglings are able to get off of the ramp, and their help with the Broodlings are going to deal some serious damage to these forces. However, the Hellions are still alive and dealing lots of damage to the Zerglings in terms of splash damage to light units. However, SlayerSCella's income from the gold is very high as well, so that can partially make up for the lost base, but it looks like MVP is expanding behind this, so she'd be in a strong economic position. Now it looks like MVP is going to move up. I think he saw the Spine Crawler and decided to either group up or to hold off on that attack. It's possible he's going to try another attack in the main, which is not actually protected by Spine Crawlers, and which contains all of SlayerSCella's tech buildings, which is important. However, it looks like the Marauders are going to jump up, go ahead and take out the Spine Crawler right away, almost immediately. That Queen is probably going to go down as well, and actually MVP still has not yet gotten Marauder slow, quite interestingly enough. I think it's because he's actually lacking gas. He has a lot of burner rolls built up, but does not quite have enough gas, and I don't think he's had the time to macro up any more production buildings, as he's been engaging almost the entire time for about 3 or 4 minutes, or maybe even longer, and it looks like MVP is in fact going to go ahead and slide out of there. That Marauder had a bad rally point. He had death written all over him, and this is a lot of roaches barreling in here. SlayerSCella actually might be able to come back and win this surprisingly if this force is going to be effective enough. It looks like MVP is now going to have to pull his forces as well. However, despite the focusing down, oh no, but he needs to start repairing again. He does in fact start repairing again. Looks like the roaches are now going to start taking out, oh, but he's losing a lot of roaches right now. But the Zerglings, however, there are no Marines to deal with these Zerglings. Marauders have horrible DPS against Zerglings. So looks like the Zerglings are going to move forward to take out those Marauders. The only Marauders left are the ones built or repairing the bunker right now. So it looks like the Zerglings are actually being dealt with fairly effectively as well. So it looks like MVP is in fact able to hold this off, and these Zerglings are going to die as well. Looks like he now does have Marauder slow. And, oh wow, the Hellion over here though has gotten a lot of workers killed. Were those all fried? Yes, all of the workers over here at this base were indeed fried by these Hellions. How many kills? 4 kills on this Hellion. It's all drones in addition to his buddy Hellions, which are also over there and taken out. Nice job on the part of MVP with a counterattack there. He is now taking a third, whereas SlayerSCella is also taking a third, but substantially behind MVP. In addition, MVP still has the strong Hellion Marauder composition, which is only really heavily countered by roaches. Not by roaches, rather, by Mutalisks. And he is trying to get in for an attack, but looks like all these Hellions are in fact going to hold off his Speedlings. Hellions deal very nice damage to Zerglings, especially Zerglings grouped up as much as these ones are, and those Zerglings are going to slide away. Now, SlayerSCella is desperately trying to catch up. He is still behind 30 on supply. MVP is still in a commanding lead. After that failed attack against MVP, I don't think SlayerSCella has very many ways to be able to get out of this. And on top of that, MVP is actually banking about 1,500 minerals. He needs to build a lot of barracks, actually. And oh, he's building 10 Marines at a time. He already built the barracks, rather. And so he's going to be maxing, well, he won't be maxing out, but he'll be building a very dangerous army very quickly. SlayerSCella is now moving into Mutalisks, but it's going to be too little too late. These are way too many forces to be able to deal with on the part of MVP. In addition, they both have 3 bases. The Hellions have moved in. How many kills have they got? They've gotten 2, 3, 3, 3, 1 kills. That's a lot of kills. And it's not just Zerglings. There were a lot of drones that he was able to fry right there. And look at SlayerSCella. Look at his numbers in terms of his total mineral supply right now. He is just hurting for money of any kind right now, whereas MVP is just floating with the money. The 3 orbital commands of mules is just absolutely a godsend, and he's building 10 Marines at a time. That is way too big of a force. He already has the turrets built up, and there aren't enough Mutalisks to be able to take on a turret, and in fact he loses the Mutalisks due to have bad control on the part of SlayerSCella. And looks like there could be a potential counterattack opportunity there, frying even more drones there with Hellions. It looks like MVP is in a very, very commanding position here, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before he moves out and simply takes out SlayerSCella. And in fact, we see this army moving out right now. We have a lot of Marines. How many is that? That's like 30-some Marines, plus a decent amount of Marauders and a siege tank with siege mode. That siege tank will be able to very strategically be placed right here where it cannot really be attacked by any melee units, and roaches will have a hard time engaging it as well. He then stims the rest of his forces over, is going to be able to snipe this gold very easily. There's absolutely no resistance from SlayerSCella, as almost all of his supply is in drones or Mutalisks. Mutalisks being, of course, horrible to engage, and actually MVP should probably be attacking this, but there is a counterattack over here with Mutalisks. That appears to be what he's controlling right now. He had some forces in the bunker, though. He was able to get rid of those, scare away the Mutalisks, and SlayerSCella realized the futility of his position and has decided to GG out of it. Very nice job from MVP in those 2 games. And I'll be very impressed to see what he goes for in the next game. Those Hellions have actually been incredibly effective for MVP. I've never seen non-blue flame Hellions quite so effective in killing drones. It looks like SlayerSCella has a little bit of work to do in order to protect his drones from the Hellions, and it looks like he possibly was able. No, some of those were retreated from the gold earlier, possibly, or maybe from the main. So it looks like SlayerSCella rather. Just came out on the wrong end of that stick, and we're going to go ahead and move on to game number 3. This is PGL Milncraft signing off.